Good morning. Oh wait, evening. Okay, so apparently this game generates ContentID claim. Davinci Compagnon. Now I tried to figure out what this is. The timestamp and the claim comes from the music you hear in the tavern. Which, if that the case, how utterly annoying. So I'm going to have to check the credits for who composed the music or if it's licensed. Who knows, maybe it's public domain. When I looked it up and then compared it to the game. Only the first 10 seconds or so sounds similar. Cause then after that, it jumps into lyrics, but the game doesn't. So I'll have to check, but I'll finish the game first. ContentID claims make me less willing to stream games from the same developer. Like when I streamed Dalek Entertainment's Deponia games. The music is really written and sung by the then CEO of the company. But for some reason still generates claim. So I'm like of two minds. I'm willing to let a claim stand if and only if the claim comes from the source. If it comes from some shirty music rights agency, then I'm gonna push back. Cause I know they don't have the rights to it. Nope, I don't think it was heavily claimed. But like Costume Quest 2, when the claim comes from someone who didn't even work on the game, I get suspicious that it's a bogus claim and the claimant is a thief. Cause there was definitely someone doing that and they got dragged into court for it. They made millions by claiming music they didn't own. And YouTube did nothing. Absolutely nothing. This all could have been avoided by requiring claims to have a ISRC record. No ISRC record, you claim is bullshit and you know it. I am not a lawyer, but I've worked in copyright nonsense on both sides for years. I can spot a bullshit claim. Like in the back of my mind, I'm hoping I'm wasting some $1,000 or lawyer's time at these fake rights agencies. Do you know what I did for Lego Jurassic Park? So I let YouTube mute the audio. The audio that Warner claimed. I would have been willing to let those claims stay, but when YouTube muted it, it got claimed by a Drev on behalf of Warner. And that it wouldn't mute. I'd have mute the entirety. So I was like, no, forget that nonsense, deleted the VODs. Then I went into Davinci Resolve, selected the audio track and told it to remove noise, and it removed all the music. Kept all the speech. I was surprised it worked that well. Cause I was prepared to just manually mute the game and keep my voice, But if I could keep the game voice, then it's easier to follow. At any rate, I feel it loses impact without the music. But I was like, am I gonna have to do this with Lego Star Wars too? Oh, such a waste of time. Also, I'm not as much of a fan of Star Wars. Hashtag cancelled. So I'm actually a bit more willing to play the Lego game. Cause I'm less interested in the actual Star Wars movie. Hot take. Only episode 4, 5, and 6 were good. Dodging the tomatoes. Like episode 1 was neat from a technical perspective. But episode 2 and 3A. And then 7, 8, and 9. It's like, okay, JJ, you finally got to do your Star Wars film, which was 7. I don't remember anything about parts 7, 8, or 9. Heck, I don't remember anything about part 2 or 3 either. Just totally scrubbed from memory. Oh, I bit my lip. So anyway, I bring this up. So South Park released an episode called Panderverse. It's heavily marketed. So I was like, I wonder what mean-spirited satire they did this time. Turns out, I actually kinda agree. I think Disney does a bit too much checklist diversity. It's fine to create diverse characters, even change up old ones. But I think maybe Disney forgets what their audience is sometimes. The people who watched Snow White or Cinderella in the theater would be like in their 90s. And people who watched The Lion King or The Little Mermaid in the theater would have been in their 40s now. So the people who are basically flipping their shirt about Disney remakes are the people who think Disney is replacing the film they loved as a kid with this. I done. Hey kids, we replaced that cute character that was clearly coded as a child with an actual adult. I tell you what. I have not watched a single Disney remake. Cause I would rather go back and watch the 2D animated film I actually liked. I've already seen it. I don't need to see it again with gaudy CGI. Has nothing to do with the actors or singers. Has nothing to do with diversity selection. I just think if they were going to do a remake, they should have actually remastered from the source material and left it as that. Like I'd be fine having The Little Mermaid or The Lion King with the visual quality of Monsters, Inc. Or better yet, Brave or Red. Cause if there's something that I think Disney frequently missed the boat on, it's that they should never shut down their 2D animation. Like Kim Possible, Gravity Falls, Star vs. The Force of Evil, DuckTales, The Owl House, these are all 2D animation that current kids, teens, and young adults like. Now, the only thing I did not like about these shows was the occasional voice actor's performance that made me cringe. Almost all the voice acting was just fine. It's just sometimes you hear a voice, and it's like nails on an chalkboard. Why does this voice sound so rough or so distorted? Like I mentioned this at some point. When I hear a voice actor, and they have a distinctive smoke or wheeze in their speaking, I can't stand it. Nails on a chalkboard to me. Anyway, as I was saying, so Panderverse was basically just a nice excuse to show how bad just gender flipping a character. If you change nothing else, it doesn't work, does it? Like, Cartman is basically the person you should not be identifying with, and yet diverse Cartman is a black woman who does everything exactly the same as white Cartman does. Just because you make them a woman or black doesn't automatically excuse the shirty behavior. Which I feel is the point. Like, I don't regularly watch South Park, largely for the voices annoy me too much reason. But also a lot of the writing tends to feel way too mean-spirited at times. So rather than complain about why the show does not appeal enough to my sensibilities, I will just watch something else. And that is a point made in that episode too. Complaining about, why won't you make this thing the way I want, is lazy whining. If you want that thing made, go make it yourself. Complaining on the internet about things beyond your control isn't going to suddenly change the mind of the people who make decisions. Oh gosh, this one nerd on the internet didn't like my content, guess I better take them up on their weird gripes. No, don't do that. Don't give them ammo. As soon as you start changing your content in response to unsolicited feedback, you open the floodgates to people with opposing viewpoints thinking you are their mouthpiece. Which is what South Park is. Both left and right-wing people think that South Park is sticking it to the other side. If that's what you think, then you've not been reading the subtext. Everyone is a jerk. That is what South Park is. Okay, let's play the game now.